Steven, are you ready for another episode of Two Guys Talking?
Are we allowed to talk about football?
Yeah, of course.
But we haven't thrown a touchdown pass in the NFL. According to Jeff Garcia, you apparently have to have put your hand in the dirt
Oh, God.
and played in order to, serve your right as an American for free speech with the First Amendment. You apparently have had to do that if you want to comment on anything on football. So it turns out that nobody's going to take anything serious that we say, Derek, from now on.
If Jeff Garcia is saying that, then yeah. I got my own.
I'm tweeting that, by the way. That's how I'm teasing this pod. I'm tweeting it out
damn.
right now. Yeah.
Oh, damn. I've had my run-ins with Jeff when he was a guest on the show. He's an interesting guy. I'll say that.
What's going on, man?
Not a whole lot, man. Let's get into this, man. Just your opinion, man. Steven, Derek. For anyone that doesn't know what I was referencing in the beginning of the show, Joey Molinaro, who is hilarious, and I'm jealous of him because he does everything that I would want to do as far as sports and being funny. He has a fantastic Twitter video where he is playing two guys that are hosting a podcast called Two Guys Talking, and it's pretty much the epitome of any podcast, including this one.
Yeah, we're going to give you the topics that nobody's talking about.
And no politics, no thank you, except for my ex-wife. Uh-oh.
That one really hit home.
Yeah.
That one hit home. Not the ex-wife part. But
I was about to say, like, Steven, you hiding something?
No, not that part, but the we're going to give you talk that nobody's giving you. We're going to talk about things that you're too scared to talk about.
Hey, I'll say this. We're not giving away any opinions that hasn't been said by other people. But this is the only podcast where you can see Derek Pop and Stephen Langford together. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, there you go.
That's all I need to promote it.
But people can't see me because I'm a third covered by this microphone. Whatever. I'll get used to it.
You're fine. One day you'll get a chair that's level with the microphone and the
yes,
table.
One day. Good Lord.
One day.
All right. Anyway.
So, Steven, while you were gone, a lot of shit happened with the Raiders, and there's a lot of shit going on right now with the Raiders, but we'll get to that a little later. But we are going to preview the conference championships. We're going to talk about all the stuff that's going on in football and even the Warriors. But let's start off with all the stuff that you missed. And you're a diehard Raider fan, and I felt bad that you were gone while all that stuff was happening with the team, from them winning the wild card game, or not winning the wild card game, but winning the win-and-in game against the Chargers, the craziness with that, to the wild card game, to the firing of Mike Mayock, to now the rumors of Jim Harbaugh and other rumors that are circulating now. But just your thoughts, Steven, on how the season ended for the Raiders.
Well, they exceeded expectations with all things going for them. I was thinking about, because you texted me, like you were going to get my season, or no, it was in the tweet. You were going to get my season recap for the Raiders. Yes. And really, I was thinking of the right word to use, because wash isn't the right word. The wash has too much of a negative connotation to it. But
wash?
The season was a wash. I don't want to call it a wash.
No, it was clean.
No, it was great. But they ended this, like, NFL teams are built by regimes, right? You have a new GM, a new head coach, or it could be the same GM with a different head coach, whatever. And right now, we're in that regime of Mark Davis, but Mike Mayock's not going to be there. Rich Bisaccia, he interviewed for the job. He might get the head coaching job, but really they ended the John Gruden regime right away, earlier than expected. Is GrudenGoneYet.com officially out of business? Unfortunately, feel bad for those people. But I was ready for a clean slate. And this season, I'm happy with where they got. It showed that they got a lot of talent. Hunter Renfrow has emerged as one of the better slot receivers in the league. Darren Waller, still one of the better tight ends in the league. Derek Carr has proven that he is a resilient bastard. I don't know if that's the right term to use. I don't know why I just said that, but
he has a mom.
He's proven that
dad, I should say.
He's proven that he can overcome everything. Like, he's gone through more than, like, even going back to the start of his career, he's gone through more than just about any quarterback in the NFL. So he is resilient as hell. But I'm just really ready for the new regime, and I'm not really focused so much on this past season, so much as the future. And that's why everything that's happening right now with the Raiders is so damn interesting, because they're starting a new regime and they're starting it early. That's why I'm looking forward to the future.
The future.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
The season went as expected. They weren't going to beat the Bengals. Like that just wasn't going to happen. And
Okay.
now the Bengals are going on to face the Chiefs in the playoffs. Maybe they'll get some redemption, beat the Raiders, AFC West rival. I'm happy with how the season went, but I don't really think it's anything to look back on and think, damn, that was a great season. I'm just going to think, I can't believe they pushed through it. That's really where I'm at.
Yeah, but you don't. Isn't there a part of you? And it's funny that you remind me of when you said "look into the future." You sound like the ending of the movie The Aviator. Have you ever seen that?
Yes.
To the future. We're going towards the future. The future. The future. Just repeating that same word over and over again. But as far as I understand. Things are up in the air, and we don't know what's going to happen with the future. But given everything, I asked the same thing to Alon. I even asked, I don't know if you know this, Q was on with us last week, and I asked him, was this season a success? And I know it didn't end with a championship. I know it didn't end with a playoff victory. But given everything that went down with Gruden and Henry Ruggs and being coached with an interim head coach, do you think this season was a success?
You asked me this question already.
No, but I'm asking you now that we have a nail in the coffin.
Sure. Success can be a word to use to describe how the Raiders season went.
There you go. You've been positive. Look at you.
Sure. I'll go with that. I mean, I wasn't thinking that way, going into that Browns game, and even after that Browns game where they were almost beat by Nick Mullins.
But they won the game, Steven.
Oh, my God. They won the game. Who cares how they won the game? Sometimes the way you win the game, it's very disappointing.
Oh my God.
But yeah, sure, it was a success. Everything that went against them. I mean, yeah, I'm proud of the way that they fought, but we're focused on the future now. Like this season, it's done. It was over as soon as everything happened with Henry Ruggs. As soon as that happened, the season was just done, because the only thing you could hang your hat on was that Carr and Ruggs are turning into this quarterback wide receiver duo that looks like they're pretty well in sync, and it looks like the offense has actually figured out how to use them. We didn't know that that's what it would be in his second year. So yeah, sure, I'd consider it a success, but what matters now is the future beyond Mike Mayock and Rich Bisaccia and what it holds for the rest of their time in Vegas. Like that's where I'm at now. I don't want to look back at this season, because how can you? Everything went against them. Everything. And then their best player gets hurt toward the end of the year.
Who?
Darren Waller.
Oh, yeah.
After Thanksgiving.
Yeah, maybe he came back. Okay, well, just one positive thing to remember. What was your reaction to the Chargers game?
Oh, gosh, I don't even remember my reaction to the Chargers game. How'd that one go again?
Are you serious? The one that went to overtime and everybody was debating whether or not they almost tied the game?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that one.
The
one that got into the playoffs.
Oh, my God. I'm telling you, I haven't even thought about the season. I haven't wanted to. I mean, it was a great win. It was a great win. They should have tied it. They should have, except the Chargers.
Stop it.
What?
Are you serious?
Yeah, Chargers are idiots. They didn't call timeout, then they would have tied.
The Raiders were never looking to tie the game.
Yeah, they were.
No, they were not.
Rich Bisaccia hinted at it after the game.
He's joking around. They're not. Oh my God! You think they really want to go in there and play the Chiefs as opposed to the Bengals? It was a loss either way, but come on.
Dude, they didn't care who their opponent was going to be. They were willing to tie that game.
Yes, they did. They were never playing for a tie. Come on.
The clock was running out, and the Chargers called timeout. The Raiders never did.
They were setting it up to go into field goal range. All right, that's a debate for weeks and weeks that you missed out on. I'm not going down that road.
Hey,
all right,
you called for it.
I know. So I didn't care for your opinion, man. So what was your thoughts on Mike Mayock being fired?
I mean, that was a surprise. I thought they would have at least given him one more year.
Yeah.
I mean, I told you when Mike Mayock was at the podium and he was answering questions for John Gruden, I told you I wanted him to ask, hey, do you really want to draft Clelin Ferrell? Was that you? Do you really want to draft Alex Leatherwood? Was that you, Mike? Or was that John? Who was that? So I
That
was
would have been
curious.
interesting at that moment. He would have answered, but I would love to go back and see whose guy was who.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. I figured he would have gotten one more year. I mean, I don't even know if it's the draft picks I'm focused on so much. Their free agents that they had in their tenure were just as bad. I want to know whose picks those were too. I think a lot of those guys were Gruden's guys as well. I mean, we focus so much when it comes to the Khalil Mack trade on the draft picks, but we don't focus so much on the free agents that were a product of the Khalil Mack trade. The
The
ones
cap
that
space
Gruden,
clearing up, yeah.
yeah, Gruden saying, well, if it wasn't for Khalil Mack getting traded, then we wouldn't have gotten LaMarcus Joyner. We wouldn't have gotten Tyrell Williams. We wouldn't have gotten Antonio Brown. Like, he's mentioning all these names and all these names that are off the team.
Yeah, I don't even
So
remember any of those guys doing anything.
I was shocked, man. I was shocked. Mike
Yeah.
Mayock and Mark Davis, we know Mark Davis loves his guys. So clearly them two butted heads and they just did not get along. I
Yeah.
think that's the one, other than being shocked. The other thing is, yeah, they did not like each other. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if he did, Mike Mayock would still be around, plain and simple.
Well, it's interesting now that the Raiders are conducting these interviews, and it's just Mark Davis doing the interviews, and that's hilarious to me.
That's what scares me.
Well, you know,
so what's your favorite meal at PF Chang's? Do you like the lettuce wraps?
do you want to do this interview at the facility or at Hooters?
Yeah. I'll meet you there in my Mini Cooper.
Oh, man, they're expecting me to be at Hooters. I'm always there at this time. Oh, jeez.
Scares me though.
Yeah, I mean, it should be scary because, as Mark Davis put himself once upon a time, I know what I don't know, and what he doesn't know is football. So it just seems to me that they're doing these interviews in a weird fashion of just, I guess, him conducting the interviews with no general manager. Like, it's still like, I don't know, like, hire a GM first. And let's just get this out of the way right now. The Raiders are not going to hire Josh McDaniels as head coach, okay? Josh McDaniels will not be the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. It's not happening. Josh McDaniels is already the coach in waiting with the Patriots. He was going to be the Colts coach, and then he got cold feet because Belichick did the same thing that Parcells did to him and said, "You're my guy. I'm going to teach you everything about the business of being a head coach." And Josh McDaniels went running back. And as soon as this interview is conducted on Saturday between Josh McDaniels and Mark Davis, Josh McDaniels is going to run back to Belichick, his daddy, and tell him everything that the Raiders are planning and laugh in his face.
It's interesting. It's interesting. I can see where you're coming from, but the reports are the reports. It's being reported. Like Ian Rappaport, the way that he's tweeting out about it right now, it seems like it's a done deal to him.
Yeah, but why would Josh McDaniels want to do this? Unless Dave Ziegler, I don't know the pronunciation of his name, the guy that has been Belichick's second-hand man, is hired as general manager. Why would Josh McDaniels take this job?
I don't know. I don't want him to take the job. When I heard Josh McDaniels, what?
Hold on. Why wouldn't you want Josh McDaniels as head coach?
Because if you're giving me the dictionary definition of an offensive coordinator who is good as an OC but not built to be a head coach, Josh McDaniels' picture would be right there, right next to it. Perfect example. Well, just because of his time with the Broncos in 2009 and 2010, didn't do anything when he had Kyle Orton at quarterback. He went like 8-8. But then he was just the offensive coordinator with the Patriots, and you can never trust anyone from there. At least not Josh McDaniels. It just doesn't inspire any confidence. It's not to say that it's a total already failure. Like, it's not to say that, because I just think that's unfair and way too strong. But to me, it doesn't inspire any confidence in getting Josh McDaniels as the head coach. Like, after all this, you're really just going to hire this dude that's been in the league for years? I don't know. I'm not into it. Not into it.
Here's what I would say. I would say that the Raiders would be lucky to get Josh McDaniels because I do value him as a head coach. I understand everything that he did in the past with the Broncos, and they were filming stuff, and that's just the way it was. Yes, he filmed stuff with the Broncos. They filmed stuff with the Patriots. You could say it's cheating, whatever. I think that he's a fascinating head coach, or a fascinating prospect to be a head coach. I think he's learned a lot from being with Belichick for a solid 10 years now as offensive coordinator. A lot of guys change when, first time around, things don't go your way as head coach, and then you learn and become better head coaches. So
no doubt.
I would say if the Raiders were lucky enough to get Josh McDaniels, it would be a great hire. but I don't believe for a second that he's going to leave the Patriots to go be head coach of the Raiders. And
Right.
Vincent Bonsignor, whatever the hell his name is, can tweet whatever he wants. We
Yeah.
all know that Mark Davis is his buddy trying to plug things. So I don't believe it for a second.
It's interesting that Vic Tafur put out an Athletic article yesterday, which straight up shot it down. Just said it's not happening.
Good, Vic. Yeah, because Vic knows what's up.
Yeah, he just said it's not happening. I'm seeing, some like a lot of people going out there saying it's the Patriot way. It's going to turn into the Patriot way. That's what he wants. I mean, look, I don't know if there's going to be any new head coach that can have success with the Patriot way. The reason that players are down with the Patriot way is because they got Bill Belichick there. I mean, it's like, what are you going to say? You or Bill Belichick? Like, what are you going to say to that? But these new players, like John Gruden, for example, they didn't respond to that. They didn't respond to him at all. Like, that's why a lot of these guys were, the offensive linemen, for example, gone just because they didn't like Gruden's style and probably other things about Gruden that they didn't like. But if Josh McDaniels, if he does get hired and he plans to bring the Patriot way to the Raiders, I don't know if that's going to fly, but that's just me. It doesn't inspire much confidence in me. That's really where I'm at.
The Patriot way is a big thing from Belichick, obviously, but the Patriot way is able to succeed because Robert Kraft is hands off and is just like, I don't care that Belichick hates the media. I could be an owner that, gets angry about that stuff being, come on, smile more, Bill. What the hell? But he lets him be him. He has full control over football operations. The Patriots way is able to operate because owners don't meddle, and he's able to do what he wants to do. And I don't know what Mark Davis is as an owner. I know what he is as a businessman, moving the team to Vegas and firing certain people. But as far as an owner, I don't know. I mean, he seems like a guy that'll be hands off. So he let Gruden do his thing. I'm sure he will let McDaniels do the same thing, but I don't think McDaniels is going to entertain the actual idea of being Raiders head coach. What I do think is actual is that Jim Harbaugh is most likely going to be the head coach. But as time goes on and this thing prolongs, I'm not so sure about that. Until we hear that Michigan has offered him a new contract, then I'm going to still believe that it's going to be Jim Harbaugh as head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. As far as the GM, I think it's, interesting. The guy that's been brought up is Dodds. I keep forgetting his first name, but the assistant general manager with the Colts, Ed Dodds. Yep, you're right. I think that he's their leading candidate, along with Dave Ziegler. But who do you want? Steven, if you had to pick, who do you want your GM head coach combination to be?
See, I don't know with GMs.
That's fair.
I'm if I had my choice, I'd make it be another guy from TV. Bring on Louis Riddick, baby. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know about GMs. I'm more of
Mike Florio. Hell
I'm
no,
more.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, I know, right? Chris Sims. I'm more of a read and react type of dude when it comes to the GMs. I can predict who's going to go there, but I don't really know. Like, I don't know how I don't know how a guy's going to be as a GM. I was just like, oh, Mike Mayock, he's been on TV and he's telling me, look at the body, look at that bubble butt on TV. I like this guy. Let's have him. Like, I don't know about GMs, but head coach wise, I do want Jim Harbaugh. That's my number one guy. I think him and Josh Jacobs will work really well together. Working with the tight end and Darren Waller, I think he'd figure out some cool ways to work with that offense and just be the leader of men. And he's proven he can do that. I know he hasn't had that much success in college football, and I don't really know enough about Michigan and everyone that they faced and all the ins and outs to truly make a judgment on that. I just know not a lot of people like him, but Jim would be my number one. And I told you my number two is Mike McDaniel.
Just because he has good sound bites,
just because he's funny, man, and and he's smart, and you go to every press con. I'd love him to join this podcast. I think he'd get a kick out of joining this thing because he's just, I don't know, that one guy at everyone's comparing him to a frat bro and stuff, but he's like that.
No, he's not.
He's that one guy at a party though who just sits in the back drinking a beer and making fun of everybody. Like, that's who Mike McDaniel is to me, and I think I'd get a real kick out of him. So I'm doing it purely from a selfish standpoint, but Jim Harbaugh is my number one right now. Mike
McDaniel's the type of guy that would turn off the music and be like, have you guys listened to this band I've listened to lately? It's just like some indie shit. But it's good music. Everybody at the party's like, why the hell would you turn off Doja Cat? I don't know.
Yeah. But No, what do you think though? At least with the GM, like what do they need someone who can draft well? Do they need someone who's a good player evaluator? Do they need someone who understands how money works? Because Mark Davis clearly doesn't understand that. Do
All
they
the
need a guy
above.
who's the jack of all trades? Because it feels like Mike Mayock was a talent evaluator, but when it came to the money, they didn't exactly have like a special, Parag Marate type of guy
Yeah.
who's doing all the deals for them.
Yeah, no, definitely. I would say a guy that needs to do all that stuff, a guy that checks all those boxes, Trent Baalke. You got to Google it. And it sounds like he's going to be out of a job soon too, but we'll talk about that later. I would say a guy that does all those things, and it's most importantly, it's got to be a guy that gets along with the head coach. And
Yeah.
I think it's just a matter of, I mean, it sounds like Harbaugh, and it sounds like they need a guy that Harbaugh wants to work with. If it's not that case, it's going to be a repeat of Baalke and Harbaugh butting heads again. So I think it sounds like Ed Dodds is the guy that a lot of people like, a guy that knows Jim Harbaugh. I'm trying to still figure out the connection there. But Dodds was an intern with the Raiders back in the day. He's been the assistant guy to Chris Ballard. And as Alon was telling me last week, it sounds like Dodds was the guy that, I guess the way that he put it was like something like Chris Ballard, like gets all the ingredients, but Dodds is the one that actually makes the taco. To put it in those terms.
Is that the way you guys were putting it?
Well, no, it's just I don't know what Alon's probably watching this. He'll text me exactly what he said, but it was something taco related. That's all I can remember.
Yeah.
But it sounds like Dodd sounds like a good guy and knows what he's doing, and I'd be interested in as him as general manager. And I think that it's more feasible that Todd Bowles is the head coach than Josh McDaniels. I think it's more feasible that Brian Flores is head coach of the Raiders, even though he hasn't interviewed with them yet, but they probably should interview him. I think at the end of the day, it's going to be Harbaugh. It's all contingent on whether or not Harbaugh gets a new deal with Michigan. That's what I think is the holdup here.
Yeah.
He's already telling some recruits that he doesn't know if he's coming back yet. And his defensive coordinator, who he brought in this year, who I guess changed the way they play and everything, for Michigan, is leaving to go be the DC for the Ravens, it sounds like. So I don't know what's going to happen with the Raiders head coaching stuff. I was pretty sure it was going to be Jim Harbaugh. I'm lessening that now as days go on, but I still expected it to be him.
Yeah.
Well, here we go. That was the analogy that Q used when he was interviewed regarding the taco salad or whatever. Okay, all right. Thanks a lot.
Regarding the taco salad or whatever.
Taco salad? I don't remember taco salad.
No,
it was Q. Yep, Q used the taco analogy.
Got you. So look, if Ziegler is hired as GM, I think it's is it Ziegler? Whatever. Brad Ziegler.
I say both pronunciations every time he's on.
Shout out to Brad Ziegler. If Ziegler's hired on, though, I think it's a done deal that McDaniels is going to be hired on. And I did see the follow-up that if McDaniels is hired on, he's apparently been looking for, he's already trying to build his staff. Like that's the report, is McDaniels already is trying to hire people. Another guy that that was on the list was Bill O'Brien as an offensive coordinator. And I'll tell you something about that. I'm not mad at that. Problem with Bill O'Brien was Bill O'Brien the GM, not Bill O'Brien the play caller.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So I'm okay with that. I don't know. It just no one knows. No one knows when it comes to coaches. No one knows what's going to happen unless you have some young offensive big shot like Sean McVay or Kyle Shanahan or Zach Taylor, whoever it is. Then people are going to be excited. But if it's one of these guys, you're not going to be too excited. We have to wait to see what happens. I hate that cliche, but we do. And then, you know what? If people are down on it, it is what it is. But you got to wait to see how the season plays out, how they draft, doing or whatever they do. I mean, I was high on Gruden, for God's sake. So what the hell do I know?
Yeah, we all were, man. I mean, we were expecting it to be like the old days, but things change and people change, apparently. So we'll see what happens, man.
How about this new Bears head coach, though? I know we're going to talk about the Broncos, but I just want to bring this up real quick.
Straight out of Dr. Seuss. Eberflus.
Eberflus.
Eberflus. Flusity Flus.
Have you seen a picture of this? Have you seen a picture of this guy?
Yes.
First of all, Eberflus sounds exactly like who you'd expect to be the next Bears head coach. Like, I don't know why.
A Dr. Seuss character?
Yes, I don't know why it fits him so well. And then you look at him, he looks like he'd be the Bears' next head coach.
Yeah.
Just kind of boring, regular. Can't really if you stood him up in a line with a bunch of people, you wouldn't really know who he is. You'd be like, "Oh, that's Eberflus." Like, that's who the next Bears head coach is going to be. It makes so much sense. And I'm happy for him. Good for him.
Yeah, have you seen him? Have you watched any of that Hard Knocks? Sorry,
No,
I'm
I
talking
haven't.
over you. Well, he's on there a little bit. He looks like he'd be a good head coach. I'm not knocking that move. I think a lot of people were expecting Jim Caldwell to be the head coach, and he could still be their offensive coordinator. I think that job was a tough sell just because it's a great defense, but as far as like offensive talent, I mean, like a lot of people were expecting Brian Flores to get that job, and I don't think Brian Flores wanted Justin Fields as his quarterback. So Eberflus with the Spruce Goose, Flippity Flus, is going to coach the Chicago Bears with Justin Fields. So we'll get all to the other hires in a little bit here, but let's talk about these championship games, man. We got an NFC championship game that involves the 49ers and the Rams. That's the big one. And we'll get to the Bengals and Chiefs a little later, but this is the game that, everyone in the Bay Area is talking about. Everyone's talking about in LA. Everyone's talking about in football. The other one, while it's getting big traction because it's Mahomes versus Joe Burrow, I think everybody's expecting the Chiefs to win, but we'll dive into that one a little later. But Steven, just your initial thoughts on the NFC championship game, round 3, 49ers, Rams.
Well, it's funny because one, the pressure's all on the Rams, in my opinion. You got to win now. You traded you mortgage your future to create this team that's built to win now. So the pressure for them as a team, it's on them. And you got, 49er fans who are setting records for ticket sales going into SoFi out of StubHub. So it's going to be filled with red. And Matt Stafford's going to have to be in the silent count the whole time. But on the other side, this is absolutely the game for Jimmy Garoppolo to determine his future or not. I don't think getting to the NFC Championship game was enough to keep him around. But like we talked about last week, and we're going to talk about it next week, if they do get to the Super Bowl, it's going to be a real conversation. But my number one thing is if they do win, the 49ers, that is, and actually, I think they're going to. I really do.
I'll save it for Windsor Wings. What are you doing?
I know. Whatever, it's fine. But I mean, there's only 2 games. Yeah. But or it's 4 games rather. Wait, what? 2?
No, it's 2.
Good Lord.
4 teams.
I'm chilling. I'm tripping. Sorry, I'm tired.
You're not chilling.
I haven't taken a nap all day.
No, you gotta get that in, man.
But I wonder what it's gonna look like. How they do win, if they do win. Is it gonna look like an average 49er win where they run the ball as much as they can over 30 times? The defense gets a couple of turnovers. Jimmy Garoppolo plays a manageable game where he throws for 230 yards, might have 2 touchdowns and an interception, might have 1 touchdown and an interception. And I just wonder what the reaction will be, because the conversation is going to be, what's the future for Jimmy Garoppolo if they make the Super Bowl? That's going to be number one. But also the storylines, dude. I mean, how can you not like this matchup with everything surrounding it? The 49ers being 6-0 over the Rams. Sean McVay seems to be able to beat everyone else except for Kyle Shanahan. You got Matthew Stafford, who was possibly going to be traded to the Niners, but it didn't end up happening. I mean, there's so much that goes into it. Aaron Donald versus Deebo Samuel. It's great if you're looking for all of that, unwritten storyline shit that we all love for football. So I'm really looking forward to the game. I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to the game too, and it'll be fun. And yes, this is fitting. It's fitting. It's kind of like the Dodgers and the Giants playing each other in the NLDS this year. It's just set up this way. We all were going into the season talking about the NFC West being the best division of football. And it turns out, we thought the Niners would be good. We didn't know if they were going to be Super Bowl good again. The questions about Jimmy Garoppolo, Trey Lance. They had to get Trey Lance because they missed out on Stafford, and Stafford was always going to go to the Rams, just the way it was. The friendly animosity, I should say, between Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay. And yeah, just these two teams, their history. I'm not going to sneeze at the fact that the 49ers have beat the Rams 6 times in a row. That is There's something there to that. And I think just Kyle knows how to play against Sean McVay. He pretty much taught him, not everything, because Gruden taught him a lot in Tampa, but he was a mentor to him as well. Even though they're close in age, Kyle was the offensive coordinator, and McVay, I think, was the receivers coach or tight ends coach, and
tight ends coach.
LaFleur was there too. So they know each other very well, and I think it's going to be an interesting matchup. The key to this game, I think, is whether or not the Rams are going to have time to block the 49ers front. Each time they played each other, they did not. Especially in that first meeting on Monday Night Football, Stafford was just, Odell just got there. He was forcing throws down the field. They looked lost. And that was fresh off the Robert Woods injury. Second time around, they dominate that first half. They're up 17-3 in the first half. And Stafford just looked uncomfortable because the Niners' pressure was getting to him over and over and over again. So if the Rams are going to have any luck in this game, they have got to block the 49ers front. And it sounds like Andrew Whitworth is going to play. It's just a question of whether or not, I was really impressed with Joe Noteboom last week and his protection in the pass game. I think Whitworth is a better run blocker, and you can't just switch him off and on. People will know what's going on. But I think it's interesting, to see how they do that going forward. Obviously, if Whitworth's healthy, he's going to play, and I would expect him to play. But as far as the 49ers side, Trent Williams and Debo are banged up. They are. And Trent Williams, he's going to play probably. I don't know if we'll see him at 100%. And Debo is going to play. There's no injury report on him, but he was limping significantly after that game. So that's something to look out for them. But Steven, you brought it up with the first comment about this game. The Rams have so much pressure on them. This Saturday will be the full year since the Matthew Stafford trade, when he went from the Lions to the Rams. It's fitting. Saturday night will be that time, and the next day will be what they traded him for, to get him in this spot, for Stafford to get the Rams to a Super Bowl. And not only that, they are hosting the Super Bowl. The game is in LA. And they're saying they're all in. They're all in. They went out and got Von Miller. They went out and got Odell. They're all in, and it's all set up for them to have this game in their place. It may not feel like it, but it's in their place, and there's a lot of stakes for them. And, of course, as the 49ers have experienced the last 3 weeks, they have low expectations. Now, a lot of people are picking them to win, but if they lose, so what? We were supposed to lose. They're going in with low expectations, facing a team that has all the expectations.
100%. Now, this is, as we mentioned, this is the podcast where we give you the topics that no one has. So, Derek, that leads me to this, the keys to the game. All right. Everybody does a key to the game, but I'm interested. I'm interested to hear what your thoughts are, because I got 4. And
Go for it.
You named one, and I want to see, out of these 4, which one do you feel is most important? I think you just gave your answer. But the number one, you got to win in the trenches. Mm-hmm. Like, you have to. And two simple stats. Your quarterback can't get sacked, or at least has a limited amount of sacks. He's most likely going to get sacked. It happens every once in a while.
Yeah.
And you average your yards per carry. The average is somewhere between 4 and 5, 3.8 and 5. Let's just say. Let's just try and be generous here, because between 4 and 5 is a lot. Like, that's the. I mean, if you're looking at teams that were really good at running the football, they averaged about 4 to 5 yards a carry. So if you win in the trenches, then I think you're good in this game. But the other ones that I think that are super important, and tell me if I'm wrong here, but it's funny. Everything that we consider generic, like about football keys to the game, it really does ring true in this one. Win in the trenches, like that's it. Yeah. That's number one pretty much in every game.
There's a reason why cliches exist, is because they're most likely accurate.
Yes. Limit the mistakes. Like I heard Scott Pioli earlier on, former GM, and he's an analyst now. And I listened to his podcast, Tape Heads. It's great. Bob Wischusen and Dan Orlovsky and Scott Pioli. Football nerd podcast. But Scott Pioli brought up a really good point. And he just said that, look, this game is going to come down to who doesn't lose it for you from the quarterback position. If Matthew Stafford throws 3 interceptions in this game and makes stupid mistakes and gets stifled by that front four, then the 49ers are winning this one. And if Jimmy Garoppolo, if he makes a ton of mistakes like he's prone to do, not just one, because the Jimmy O no throw is going to happen. I like that. I love that term, by the way. I try to go different a lot of the time when people are, they're all globbing onto this one term, but the Jimmy O no throw, I love the Jimmy O no throw. It just
who came up with that one?
I don't know. Everybody. It's all over. Everyone calls it the Jimmy O no throw, where he just makes that one throw where you're thinking, oh no. And then
you gotta love Niners Twitter.
But you got to limit the mistakes and the flags and the penalties, the special teams, all of that. And then I don't know, which one do you think is more important? Will this be a quarterback duel, or is it more important to stop the number 1 wide receiver on each team? Because if you stop Cooper Kupp, I mean, I think you have a pretty good chance of, or limit Cooper Kupp, contain Cooper Kupp, you might have a chance.
I would say this. I think that it's imperative for the Rams to stop the run, whether it's Debo or Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah.
They cannot get into the same, thing that happened the last 2 times they played where they're just eating up clock and the defense is getting tired and they're not stopping them. So they have got to stop the run, and the Rams have to run the ball themselves. They were not successful doing that the last time they played each other, and that, I think, was their downfall. At the end of the day, the Rams are a high-flying offense, but they also want to run the ball, and their inability to run the ball last week against the Buccaneers caused them to get back into that game. So I would expect to see a lot of Sony Michel, Cam Akers, and even Darrell Henderson if he is available to play in this game. As far as the wide receivers and the Niners taking away Cooper Kupp, Odell Beckham is playing great. And that if they take Cooper Kupp away, I do not doubt for a second that Odell will get his receptions and make big plays. Same for Van Jefferson. He's averaging like a reception a game in these playoffs, and he's just waiting to break out. So, and Higbee, they don't use him a lot in the regular season, but now that Cooper Kupp's been kind of bottled up here or there, and even though Cooper Kupp's been going on for over 100 yards in both playoff games,
bottled up means 101 yards receiving for Cooper
exactly.
Kupp.
But like early on in games, like they double team him, and then they're just like, fuck it, we can't, other guys are getting open.
Right.
They go to Higbee now because Higbee's open. So the Rams have a lot of playmakers to play with, obviously. So I would say that it's going to be a mix. I think it's going to be a mix of the wild card game against the Cardinals, where they ran the ball a lot with Sony Michel and Cam Akers. And it's going to be a mix of the Buccaneers game where they have to air it out when they need to. But if Matthew Stafford's making the same turnovers that he's done in the past, where he's just throwing up 50-50 balls and Avery Thomas is coming down with the pick, then they're going to lose. So they have to run the ball well, they have to protect well, and they have to limit the turnovers.
And it all stems from those linemen, from the big guys.
Yes.
If you get to Stafford, you don't render those receivers useless, but you put your quarterback into a panic, and he's just trying to find any guy who might have a sliver of room, but won't see that other defender who's over to help, and then he goes for the pick. I mean, a lot of pick sixes. I think Matt Stafford's led the league in pick sixes this year. 4. It's gonna be such a fun game.
It's going to be fun.
It really is. And not only, the pressure and the coach on coach and all that, but also the way they've built their teams. They've both done it in completely different ways. The Niners, for the most part, have done it through the draft. They've tried through free agency, and, they've hit on some guys, but and through trades, like Laken Tomlinson, for example, is a trade that nobody talks about, but he's been fantastic throughout the entire season. Picking up Trent Williams was obviously huge, but Debo, Fred Warner, Jimmy Ward, and Jaquiski Tartt have been good. They were drafted. Ambry Thomas was a guy who's drafted. The cornerbacks that they picked up, Dante Johnson was drafted, but Josh Norman was kind of a failure. And Elijah Mitchell, he was also drafted.
Mm-hmm.
George Kittle was drafted. Kyle Juszczyk was picked up through free agency. They've just built their teams in completely different ways and didn't mortgage their entire future in order to get it done. And then the 49ers have a very likable team. For all the crap that we're giving Garoppolo, I do crap on the win-loss record. I do, because it's not a quarterback stat.
When Ann Killian's talking about all the crap that Jimmy has to go through, she's talking about you.
fine, but he's not an unlikable guy. It's not like he complains too much. He's very tough. It's not like he, I mean,
He's a little unlikable with how good looking he is.
I guess, but if you're gonna not
I'm
like
kidding. I'm kidding.
I mean, hey, it's a real thing. I remember people for the Giants when Gabe Kapler got hired, they were saying, well, he's not fat, old, and have a beer gut, so he's not going to be a good manager. Like that.
Why is that a thing?
Because it's a thing in baseball, man.
People are just jealous. Sports fans because they're fat. They're just like, oh, this guy, look at him.
Yeah, but Debo's gone from not only a fan favorite but to a league favorite.
Yeah,
like everybody loves Debo. There's not a person in the world who doesn't like George Kittle. Elijah Mitchell, for those who know him, they all like him. Trent Williams is one of the most respected left tackles in the league. A lot of offensive line. There's not actually now that I think about it, there's not any offensive lineman that anybody hates. But on the other side,
there's probably some dirty guys,
I guess. But on the other side, you got Jalen Ramsey, who's very good, but he's a pest. You got OBJ, who it's OBJ. You got Matt Stafford, who people seem to crap on for no reason whatsoever.
But he's likable compared to the other guys.
He's very likable, but people seem to think he's not just because of his wife and what she's doing. She's mouthing off about the Rams and the Niners, whatever. So people seem to not like him. It's just two very, very different teams, two polar opposites clashing for the final game of the season. Oh, I'm so excited. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. And it's NorCal versus SoCal.
Yeah.
And it's two different philosophies of trying to build a football team, because the Rams make these moves and the Niners just, they went all in to get the quarterback in the draft and they're not even using him. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. And let me just say this about the fan takeover that's going to happen at SoFi. I can't believe
you're not going to detract this, are you? Like, come on.
I don't think the Rams are going to let what happened last time affect them. I'm not denying that the 49ers fans may take over that stadium. It very well could be 50-50. But Sean McVay, while he admitted last time, like, we weren't prepared for all that, and we're going to a silent count, blah, blah, blah. They are going to prepare for everything this time. They just played this team 3 weeks ago. Right. And it's crazy. Like, the last time I remember something like this happening was when, if you remember back in 2010, the Packers on the last day of the season needed to beat the Bears in order to make the playoffs. And they had like a slug match where the Bears already had everything locked up, and they played all of their starters against the Packers to knock them out of the playoffs, and they couldn't do it. And the Packers survived, and they go into Soldier Field for the NFC Championship game and beat them. And it's very similar to that, where it feels like they just played in a playoff game 3 weeks ago and they're doing it again. And I always think that the team that lost the first time has better odds because they know what they did wrong and want to change things up. But Kyle Shanahan is extremely smart, one of the best coaches in football, and I think he's going to prepare for the Niners for that as well. So I'm kind of torn.
I'm glad.
To take away from Natalie Imbruglia.
Well, and I agree with you. They're probably practicing with crowd noise and pumping all.
Which is sad.
I mean, it's not sad. That's strategy. I mean,
no. It's smart to do, but it's sad they have to do that in their own stadium.
You're sad. You're saying it's sad for Rams fans that they can't go up and they got to do that. Now, I'm glad you said the word prepared, because I listened to the Lion King soundtrack on a Monday morning on my way up to work. Fire soundtrack. Haven't done that in a while. But be prepared.
Great song.
Not only that, but the last little stanza, the last verse, should you say, I couldn't help but think of Shanahan and McVay like singing this to their team. But listen to this, okay?
While their players are marching like Nazi hyenas.
Yeah. Exactly. But I'm telling you, listen, okay? Listen. Not the beginning, because the beginning, it's just like.
Are you going to play the song right now?
I'm not going to play the song. I'm going to read the lyric.
Okay.
Because the beginning, Scar's just shitting all over the hyenas. It's like, why are you fighting this dude? He's telling you you're empty in the head. Like, don't fight for him. Go against him. Anyway, they figured that out by the end of the movie, though. Spoiler alert.
Good for them. Good. As Killer Mike said, kill your masters.
And that's going to get my ass assassin. Okay. Meticulous planning, tenacity spanning, decades of denial, although you might have to turn that to like a decade and a half decade of denial for either war, is simply why I'll be king undisputed, respected, saluted, and seen for the wonder I am. Yes, my teeth and ambitions are bared. When you see Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan's teeth, you know they're doing something right. That's only when Kyle Shanahan smiles. Anytime he's mad, he keeps his mouth closed. Be prepared. Yes, our teeth and ambitions are bared. Be prepared. If that's not Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay going into this game, talking to his team, I don't know what is.
Boom. Did you think it was weird when Scar, that one part, like turned to the camera and gets all like sexual and just like waiting for sensational news? It got weird.
I mean, Jeremy Irons in the voice, it's perfect.
But did you know that Jeremy Irons actually doesn't sing that song?
Really?
No.
Oh, that kind of ruins it for me.
Yeah. It's some like it's like a famous Disney voiceover guy that always does the voices for other
Really?
people. Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know. Come
or
on.
maybe like I think it's half Jeremy Irons and half
the other guy. Jeremy Irons has such a unique voice. I'd be very surprised if your generic voiceover Disney guy has the same voice as Jeremy Irons.
Good. I don't buy it.
But come on, man, think about that. Meticulous planning,
yes,
tenacity, spanning is simply why decades of denial is simply why I'll be king undisputed, respected, saluted. Oh, just perfect.
It's I didn't think about it, Steven, but that song sums it up perfectly.
I was trying to think. It's so stupid. I was
trying
to think.
And if one of them loses, Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata, baby. But I was thinking of like other, like I was trying to think of movie references for that.
Yeah.
And the mentor facing the mentee, whatever. And
which is crazy because they're only like 3 years apart.
Right. And I was thinking like, the Karate Kid, it's like if Daniel-san fought Mr. Miyagi, but I was like, no, what if like Daniel-san had like another teammate who came in later? Mr. Miyagi's like Mike Shanahan. Then Daniel-san is like Kyle Shanahan. And then the other teammate, whoever it is like Sean McVay. Or I was thinking like Beverly Hills Ninja, where the main son is like Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay is Chris Farley.
Man, I watched that movie like a year ago. It still holds up. I think it's on Netflix.
It is so stupid, but it's great.
It's incredibly stupid, but it's fun. It's fun. It's a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've done everything but pick this game, so let's hold off on that for a second, and let's talk about this AFC Championship game for a second. Okay. So we got the Bengals, the darling Bengals, coming out of nowhere, getting to this game, first time since 1988 during a conference championship game, against the Chiefs, who are hosting this game for the fourth time in a row. And these two teams faced against each other a couple weeks ago, too. And it was a fantastic game where the Chiefs looked like they were kicking the Bengals' ass. And then Joe Burrow goes off. The Chiefs had no answer for Jamar Chase. He gets a rookie record for like receiving yards, 3 touchdowns. They get the field goal at the end to win the game, which puts the Bengals into the playoffs. Steven, how do you see this game going?
Well, it depends on how the offensive line goes, right? I mean, what were the sack numbers overall?
9
for the Bengals. Well, I know that for the game, but overall for the season.
Oh,
for the Bengals.
I think Joe Burrow is the most sacked quarterback in football.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, it still is. Okay. I thought they tried to actually fix that. Look, man, I would say it's the same as the Rams and the Niners, where if they get to them with their pass rush, then you're going to hold the Bengals and the Chiefs are most likely going to score on the other end. But the Chiefs, they got a damn good secondary. And I like Sam Hubbard. And I like Sam Hubbard and Trey Hendrickson. I think those guys are really good. I was so wrong about Trey Hendrickson, by the way. So wrong about him because I'd watched some Saints games, right?
Yeah.
And I think this dude was so high on the list in sacks in the league. And I remember watching a game and thinking, he wasn't even blocked on those 2 sacks that he had in that game. And then I see the stat, which showed that in his 10 sacks so far this season, all of them had been unblocked. So when the Bengals gave him that big-ass contract, I said, that's a waste. They've never seen those numbers that I saw posted to Twitter. They don't know about that. So I've never been so wrong about a player. Man, I don't know. I still see the Chiefs coming out on top, though. It's so hard to beat this team. I know momentum. It's more in game, but right now the Chiefs are playing the best football of their season so far, and the defense hasn't let them down too much, although they did last week. But
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a damn good game, though. I hope it turns into a shootout and one that gets us excited for the AFC playoffs for years to come. I mean, what more do you want right now? That's also a great storyline too. I mean, you got Patrick Mahomes, the young Super Bowl champion quarterback, and now you got Joe Burrow, who's hoping to be that type of guy. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. I know you're excited, Derek.
I'm excited. I'm always excited about football, Steven.
You
I
sound
think,
like it.
yeah. Do I, or are you saying I'm not?
You sound very excited.
Thank you. I'm super excited.
I just had Jesse text me and say, your mic is in the way of your face. I know it's in the way of my face. I'm trying
my face or your face?
My face.
Oh, okay.
He's like, your mic is in the way of your face. I know it's in the way of my face.
Yeah, the mic. Where's the mic supposed to go?
No, it's supposed to go out here. Look at that.
No, right, it's not going to pick it up. See, you can't even hear you.
Oh, what do you know? Oh,
yeah, my mic is supposed to go in front of your face.
Anyway, Chiefs Bengals. What do you think?
I think that it's an interesting game. And I think that the last time these two teams played, it was fun and a high-scoring game. But I think that the Bengals are here a little too early. And even though they deserve to be here, I'm not taking anything away from them. It's just that some teams, when they get good, walk before they crawl, and they get success a little too early. So while I do think the Bengals are a great team, and they probably will be going forward, I didn't expect them to be in this spot right away. So I think that the moment's going to catch up to them. I'm not going to say who I'm picking yet, even though it sounds like it's pretty obvious who I am already.
Huh.
But I just think that after last week, the Chiefs realized that their secondary needs to play a hell of a lot better because they let one guy score 4 touchdowns on them. Was it with Gabriel Davis that caught all those touchdowns?
Yes, it was.
Okay. So they had the same problem with Jamar Chase a couple weeks ago. They can't let it happen again. And even though the Bengals won that game, I still do not like their offensive line holding up against the Chiefs' pass rush. So while I think this game will be fun, I don't know if it's going to be as close as people expect it to be.
You don't think? What do you think? Okay, so I mean, we're going to have to do predictions. What, you think the Chiefs are going to blow them out?
Let's do it right now with edition of Wins or Wings. Oh, yes, Steven. Here we are, Conference Championship weekend, and we've already previewed these games, so let's just get right to it, my friend. Bengals, Chiefs kicking off at 12 o'clock. Who are you taking? Are the Chiefs going to the Super Bowl 3 straight times, or the Bengals going for the first time since 1988?
Yeah, it's going to be the Chiefs. I know it. Andy Reid, too much experience. Patrick Mahomes, he's been there before. Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. Yeah, I mean, that mic'd up thing, I watched it like 6 times with Travis Kelce.
So I actually haven't seen this. So what is it?
I mean, Travis Kelce just reads everything that the defense is doing and is telling guys what he's going to do. Like on Tyreek, really? Yeah, with Tyreek Hill, for example, he's just like, look, I'm going to block all the way for you here because this defense is playing it this way. You catch the ball here, you go this way, you're off. Like he is being the quarterback of the wide receivers. And then he tells Mahomes, the seam's going to be open if they keep playing defense like that. So I'm going to change the route. I'm not going to go outside. I'm going to go inside here. And then you see them get the look that they want. And Mahomes is like, do it, Kels, do it. Ah! and then they complete the pass and we know what happens from there. It's just, they're playing in such a good rhythm right now. It's got to be the Chiefs. It pains me to say it, but it's got to be the Chiefs. And I think you're on the Chiefs too.
Yeah. Speaking of that, just that mic'd up thing, that reminds me of John Lynch in the Super Bowl against the Raiders, just calling out all of their offensive signal.
Everything. Like
Sluggo seam. You see that Sluggo seam?
I mean, I like the Bengals defense. Jesse Bates is a very good safety. Mike Milton's awesome. Like they got a good defense. I think it's going to be closer than you think. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but
here's what I say. I think that the real AFC Championship game happened last week between the Chiefs and Bills. I think those are the two best teams in the AFC, And I think that the Bengals deserve to be here. They're a good team, and I can't wait to watch them going forward. But I think this moment's a little too big for them, and they're going up against a hostile environment with the Chiefs. I think Chris Jones has a huge game getting to Joe Burrow, maybe 3 or 4 sacks.
Jesus.
He's good. And they had a hard time blocking Jeffrey Simmons.
Correct.
Frank Clark gets in the mix too. I don't see the Chiefs defense just letting Jamar Chase just run by them again. And something that a lot of people aren't talking about, how about what's crazy to me is that how everyone was quick to just shit on the Chiefs initially when they started 1-3, like, oh my God, Mahomes, what's going on with them? And they started 1-3, and they have looked great ever since. And it doesn't seem like anyone's giving them credit for just how they've just changed things. It's just like what we expect now. It's like, oh, ho hum, the Chiefs are that good, and I think they're going to do it again. And yeah, one thing that no one's talking about is another added dimension to their offense they're getting that they haven't seen before, that Niners fans were hoping for. Jerick McKinnon looks great with the Chiefs as a receiving back and running with them. So yes, while I do think this game will be fun, I think the Chiefs pull away in the end. I don't see it being that close. I think the Chiefs win again Sorry, I'm thirsty.
Easy.
I know. I am taking the Kansas City Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl once again while I drink this water.
Oh, I mean, I can't believe that we're actually going with that, but it's looking more and more like it's going to happen. And I don't know though. If Joe Mixon, if he manages to take over a little bit, I know the offensive line, like you mentioned, Chris Jones and Frank Clark, those guys are damn good. And Tyrann Mathieu as well. But is he going to be playing actually?
We don't know if he's playing yet.
Yeah. All right. That was unfortunate what happened in the last game. But
yeah.
But look, man, if they somehow win with the running game and Joe Mixon does Joe Mixon things, I mean, I'm focused on him more than I'm focused on Joe Burrow almost. But two teams that are explosive, I think they deserve to be there. The Bengals, that is. I get what you're saying, that it was like the championship or the conference finals, whatever you call the conference championship game last week, whatever.
Yeah.
But the Bengals made it, man, and they did it in a deserving fashion over a team that had a first round bye. They managed to stop Derrick Henry. If you're able to at least put a little bit into that run game against the Chiefs, I think the Bengals can get it done, but it's going to be too much. It's just going to be way too much.
Well, that would be the key of the game, is to, limit the possessions that Patrick Mahomes gets and run the ball with Joe Mixon. But I don't see that happening. I see the Chiefs winning.
Do you forget that Mahomes has been in the league for like 5 years? It still feels like he's this second or third year player that's just so damn good.
Yeah, 5 years. Yeah,
it still feels like he's that second or third year player. It's at least for me.
Yeah.
He's still really young, but then when you think about it, Joe Burrow's the up and coming guy. Patrick Mahomes has turned into that championship veteran that everyone's heading after. It's like it's crazy. Like, he's the one that's the senior, the elder statesman of these young quarterbacks in the AFC. It's just all strange.
And ever since he's been the starter, he's taken the team to at least the conference championship, which is incredible in itself. So
could you imagine Mahomes with the wide receiver core for the Bengals, with Chase and Higgins and Boyd in the slot?
Well, that's the thing too, is Mahomes gets it done. Like, if you look at their offense, it's Kelsey, it's Hill, a lot of other great skill guys, but the excuses that we give to the Packers, they just have Devontae Adams. The Chiefs just have Travis Kelsey and Tyreek Hill too, and they get it done.
Don't you dare diss Byron Pringle that way.
I'm sorry. I love Pringles.
Don't you ever disrespect Byron Pringle in front of me.
Or Mecole Hardman. They're good skill guys, but they don't compare to the other guys.
No, they do not. No, they do not.
All right, Steven, let's stop tap dancing around it. Who you taking? 49ers, Rams.
I think it's going to be a rematch of the 2019 Super Bowl. I think it's going to be the 49ers and the Chiefs again.
Well, Steven, I understand why everyone's taking the 49ers. I really do.
Yeah.
And I know last time we did this podcast, I promoted that Lorenzo Neal will be joining us, and he's not good at responding to text messages. So it's just us two today, and I'm glad we do. But if he was here, I would have asked him what took the 1999 Tennessee Titans to beat the Jaguars 3 times.
Titans.
The Titans. Yes, Steven. God. Can you go away again for 2 weeks? Yes, the Titans. When the Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Titans 3 times. Sorry, when the Titans beat the Jacksonville Jaguars 3 times. That's incredible too. Did you know that? The Jacksonville Jaguars went 14-2 that season, and their only 3 losses, because they lost in the playoffs, were to the Titans.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
That is.
So what goes into that? Like, how does a team prepare that well each time to win 3 times in a season against one opponent? It's incredible. And I can't take anything away from the 49ers beating the Rams 6 times in a row. It's been remarkable. At the same time, it's very hard to do. And I know that the Niners are coming in with low expectations. Well, to the outside world. To them, they have high expectations. They expected to win the Super Bowl. They expected to be here. Despite what everybody said about Jimmy and Trey Lance, they expected to be here. And once again, they're facing a team that has huge expectations. But I can't see them not, taking a hold of the opportunity here. They wanted this. They went out and got Matthew Stafford a year ago, and this is exactly where they wanted him. They got him to beat this team, to beat the 49ers, because Jared Goff was not getting it done against this team. The 49ers were laughing at Jared Goff because they knew that he couldn't do anything against them. And they went out and got Matthew Stafford for this exact reason. And they're all in. Everybody laughs that they're all in, but they are all in. And they know that they're hosting this thing. And I can't see Sean McVay losing to this team once again. So, to make everybody upset in my family and with people in the Bay Area, I am picking the Los Angeles Rams to beat the 49ers.
It's all well and good, but the 49ers are on some weird roll right now.
I get it. I get it.
It's just, even in that game against the Packers, like when I was watching with my cousin and Jimmy Garoppolo just threw the interception, my cousin's like, Niners are done, aren't they? And I said, no, they're not. He's like, yeah, they are. Look at them. They're terrible right now. Yeah. I was like, maybe. But this game, it goes until the 4th quarter, man. Like, this team doesn't seem to be out of it. Yeah. And I think Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan, them two know each other so well. I don't know. I mean, I could see the Rams winning, but I'm just too scared to pick against the 49ers. I really am. Like, not for like the reaction, because you've heard me pick against them before. But if I pick, because I picked the Rams, I think both times so far, and it's just,
I have too. Yeah,
it scares me to pick the Rams again. I don't know if I could be wrong for a 3rd time about a team.
Well, no, I get it, man. But this reminds me of a little bit of when the Rams, sorry, not the Rams, when the 49ers went into Seattle and they had all of the, the history of, being in conference championship games and going to the Super Bowl the year before. And then they just played a better team. And on paper, I think the Rams are a better team. There's so many things that the Niners do well. I'm not taking anything away from them. I think Jimmy Garoppolo's played fantastic to get to this point. I think Debo's played great. I think the defense has played great. But I just have a feeling that it's going to be very difficult. There's a lot of cockiness going around with the 49ers, not with the team themselves or the players, or the coaches, just the fans. I think the fans are getting really cocky. And they have a right to be, because they hate the Rams. They hate LA. I totally get it. I totally get it. But it's hard to beat a team 3 times, let alone 7 times. And I know the history is against them, but this is what they asked for. So this is everything the Rams wanted, with the exception of probably playing the Niners. So I am taking the Los Angeles Rams.
Whew. Whew. Bold move. Bold strategy.
Bold move, baby. Yeah.
Let's see if it pays off for them. No, and look, this is all, if Trent Williams is out, like if he in the middle of the game just can't play, and Tom Compton plays the way that he played against Green Bay, then yeah, the 49ers don't stand much of a chance. Every drive, other than the interception thrown by Jimmy Garoppolo in the first half, he was sacked. Like, we're always so focused on, Jimmy and the run game and all that, but in reality, if you get a sack on a drive, then that kills it by a really large percentage. Like, a large percentage of drives where a sack happens, it rarely ends in a touchdown. So again, it goes back to what happens in the trenches. And And if you think the Niners are going to win in the trenches, then I think the 49ers win the football game. And I think that's what's going to happen. I really do.
That's fair to believe, but I think that Von Miller has been looking like old playoff Von Miller.
He's looked very good.
He's looked very good. They also got Leonard Floyd. And I think Aaron Donald has a huge game. Not going to say what his sack total is, but
hey, Daniel Brunskill has his number, though.
I know.
Brunskill seems to know what to do.
Aaron Donald knows this, and he's aware of everyone making fun of him for the first time with Debo. What's going on?
Shams Charania, first-time NBA All-Star as a starter in the West. Golden State's Andrew Wiggins.
Oh, yeah, baby. There we go. I was waiting for that news. So what's the Western lineup for starters?
Do we know? I don't know. I just saw the tweet.
Okay, hold on.
No, we could close off the conversation.
We'll get to the Warriors later, and we'll pull that tweet up as we get time. But yeah, I think it's going to be a Rams-Chiefs Super Bowl. It's going to be a rematch of that 2018 crazy game where Jared Goff, of all people, put up 50 points against Patrick Mahomes. He put up 50 points, and I don't think it's going to be that high scoring of a Super Bowl, but I just think it's going to be Rams and Chiefs.
Yeah, all right.
That's the way I see it.
Wow, watch it be like Rams Bengals.
No, watch it be 49ers Bengals, and that just, not be sexy at all. To the mass audience. I would still love it because I love football. Steven? All right. A guy that really loves football, but we won't see him playing anymore. It officially was announced today. Ben Roethlisberger officially retires. Steven, your quick thoughts. We talked about this when he was done with when he was playing the Browns, that Monday night game, but now it's official. Steven, your thoughts on Ben Roethlisberger's career?
It's about damn time. I've always, I know his off the field issues are just terrible, but taking that away, I've always liked Big Ben, the quarterback. Not being a mobile guy at all, yet guys just bounce off of him, not getting sacked.
Well, younger in his career, he was mobile.
Yeah, and having one of the more historic Super Bowls against the Cardinals that we've seen, that throw to Santonio Holmes, we talk about the catch so much, but that throw in that spot, just unbelievable. And he's been a super clutch player, and everyone else besides Antonio Brown seems to like him outside of a couple of guys, but I think that's just their own issues getting in their
Antonio Brown seems to like him now.
Oh boy. And then, but no, it's just watching him ever since he was it week 1 where he threw the ball and just threw his arm out, like threw his elbow out, whatever it was. And that's why he had to start Mason Rudolph. And that's what
2019 week 2. Yeah.
So ever since then, I'm just like, what is this guy doing if he throws a football and hurts his arm to the point where he can't start anymore? Great career, all that stuff. And I get where the Steelers are coming from because it's really tough to move on from a quarterback who's done so much for you when you don't really have a backup option. But damn, it's about time. It is time for Big Ben.
Real quick here, the Western Conference All-Star starters will be Stephen Curry, Andrew Wiggins, Ja Morant, LeBron James, Nikola Jokic.
Wow.
Yep.
That's crazy, man.
In a game that nobody will watch. I'm kidding. People will watch it, but I could care less about the All-Star game.
I like the All-Star game, Derek.
Is that you?
No, it's me doing you.
I like the 3-point contest and all that stuff the night before, but it turns into a glorified scrimmage.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not necessarily toward the end. Toward the end,
because they're trying to, yeah.
I forgot what the rules are called. There's a name for them, but
the points carry over, and the money goes towards a good charity. So that's good. But
it's competitive toward the end.
Yeah, it's gotten better. I'll take it back. It's gotten better towards the year. I'll probably put it on in the background with family.
Right.
My favorite, yes, Ben Roethlisberger was a fantastic quarterback. The thing that I hated most about him was he just held on to the ball way too long. It was always annoyed the crap out of me. But I thought he was a great competitor, a great quarterback. Probably, I don't know about a first ballot Hall of Famer, but he's definitely a Hall of Famer. But my favorite stat line is Ben Roethlisberger 2-6 against the Raiders and 0-4 in Oakland. And I'll never forget that 2006 game where he threw the pick.
Say it.
4 picks, I think. 1 to Nnamdi Asomugha and 1 to Chris Carr for the touchdown.
What a time.
Yep.
What a time.
And I want to say, like, Andrew Walter had,
where
like,
the Raiders had their number. Sorry.
yes. And I want to say Andrew Walter won that game with like 40 yards passing. It was beautiful. Just
what a
beautiful.
time.
It
Then
was a
Bruce
time.
Gradkowski comes in, throws
Yeah.
3 touchdowns in the second
You want to
half.
do it, Tom? Yeah, Lewis Murphy.
Now,
you know what's funny is you're saying those were the days when the Raiders were shitty and they just came off a playoff appearance. You're like, those were the days.
and now Josh McDaniels.
We'll see. It's not happening.
Shit.
Did you hear this though? I don't know if I believe this at all. Mike Singletary did a interview with The Athletic. He wants to, before Matt Eberflus was named head coach of the Bears, he wanted to be head coach of the Bears because Mike Singletary thinks he's ready for that. But the Bears brass told him, can't do it. He thinks that he's telling The Athletic,
yes,
that back in 2010 the Niners had a trade proposal with the Steelers for Ben Roethlisberger. This is coming after Ben Roethlisberger was suspended 4 games.
Yeah.
And supposedly the Steelers were ready to get rid of Ben Roethlisberger, and they were going to trade him to the 49ers. And Jed York was all ready for it, and Mike Singletary was like, nope, I don't want that guy. That conversation could have been had. They probably asked Mike about it, but I don't think for a second that Mike Singletary had the power to veto a trade. Don't believe it.
There's two sides to every story, especially when it comes to these ones. These ones where you rehash something from 12 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know what to believe.
I don't believe it.
I don't know if I do. And if they would have gotten Ben Roethlisberger, then okay. But I don't buy that. I don't, especially at that time. No way.
Yeah. No, I'm not buying it.
Yeah.
But as far as head coaches that are still in the league or being new head coaches, news came out today that Nathaniel Hackett will be the new head coach of the Denver Broncos, and this is after Dan Quinn seemed like the front runner for that job, and he was interviewing for a ton of jobs.
Can you say his name one more time?
Dan Quinn?
No, Hackett.
Oh, Nathaniel Hackett?
Because you said Haggett
earlier. I did not
on.
say Haggett. Did not say Haggett. I'm going to say that slowly so I'm not saying anything wrong here.
Yeah. I was like, what?
Hackett. Nathaniel Hackett. Good Lord. What is this? Yeah. Come and listen to this podcast. Well, you'll get opinions that nobody else gets. And Steven makes fun of my grammar. Good Lord.
I mean, it's just your C's sound like your G's, and then your T's sound like the D's.
I never learned how to read, Steven.
Yeah, I know. It's fine.
Nathaniel Hackett,
yes,
was now announced as head coach of the Denver Broncos. And this is very interesting because the team that's been always linked to Aaron Rodgers is the Denver Broncos. And who is the former offensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers? Nathaniel Hackett. So, Steven, when we initially talked about this the other day, where I was like, I really didn't want to have the conversation about whether or not Aaron Rodgers is staying in Green Bay or leaving. But with this news, I was not expecting this. I was actually expecting them to hire Dan Quinn. It's interesting that Dan Quinn in the end is like, I don't want any head coaching job. I want to go back to Dallas where I'll battle it out with Sean Payton for head coach in a couple of years. But do you think the Denver Broncos hired Nathaniel Hackett to lure Aaron Rodgers? I can't say his name right now. Aaron Rodgers to Denver?
I got you flustered now.
You got me Eberflus flustered.
Even though you said Payton. Yes. Short answer, yes. It absolutely
just for this reason.
Yes, 100%. Why else would you do it?
Well,
has this guy's name been brought up? Like in any head coaching? It has.
No, hold on. I don't want to paint the picture like he's just some slappy.
It is a great last name, by the way, Hackett.
Yeah, he's Paul Hackett's son. If you know about him, great NFL mind. He's been in the league for quite some time as an offensive coordinator. He deserves this job. It's not like they're giving it to him just to get Aaron Rodgers, but I'm sure it helps.
Definitely. Now, Rodgers is a weird one, man.
Yeah.
I really, my tune totally changed on him not beating the Niners in this past game. Something's up. I know he had an MVP type of regular season. but something's going on. And I heard this point. I wish I could credit them, but they said the difference between Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady is Aaron Rodgers has done interviews about everything else other than football. He's not focused on football anymore. Like, that's just what it seems like from the outside looking in. But the problem with Aaron Rodgers is he's painted it in a bad light from the media. So he's probably talking about people like me making assumptions like I'm making right now, but it doesn't feel like a wrong one to make. He does not seem that interested in it. Now, if he does go to the Broncos, I'd be nervous, but it strikes me as a situation where it's like Randy Moss to the Raiders. He goes over to Denver, loses interest. He's not going to, doesn't have to try. He doesn't have to try. He can possibly go elsewhere afterward or retire quietly into the night. I don't know, man. I'm scared of him, obviously, because he's got a lot of talent, but there's a lot more that goes into it than just talent. You really got to be 100% invested in the game, and I don't know if he is. But it is a way, though, that hiring Hackett as the head coach, no doubt.
I think that if Aaron Rodgers didn't love football, he would have retired already at this point. I think that he still loves football. And I honestly now, I hate saying this because I've been so against this, but I kind of expect him to go to the Denver Broncos at this point. And if I was the Denver Broncos, I would tell the Green Bay Packers, I'll give you as many draft picks as you want. Hell, I'll give you our entire draft for this upcoming draft, but I can't give you anybody else. I'm not giving you players. The only way this works, the only way that we have success on this team is if we have everyone here intact. We got to have Jerry Jeudy. We got to have Noah Fant. You got to have Courtland Sutton. I want them all on this team for Aaron Rodgers to throw to. So I will give you any draft pick you want. I'll give you our first round pick. I'll give you our second round pick. If you look at the Denver Broncos draft for this upcoming year, there's a lot of picks. If I was, I forget his first name, but Patton, the general manager of the Broncos, I would say take our entire draft, and I'll give you Aaron Rodgers. But I'm not giving you anybody on our team.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'd trade the house for him.
Oh, the whole team?
Yeah, exactly. Now,
that being said, I don't think Davante Adams is going to Denver. It'd just be hard. I do think that if they can't strike a deal, that he will be tagged, and there'll be a holdout situation. I like him more with the Raiders, Davante Adams, at this point.
So what's the rule with the franchise tag? It's the team that makes the first move, but the player doesn't really have a choice, right? If he's tagged, he's tagged.
He's tagged. And at that point, you can cause a stink and say, I'm not reporting. And at that point, it's just better to get a trade value for him.
What a crappy deal for Davante Adams.
Yeah, that's why players hate the tag.
I mean, well, it's not only that, but at least some of these players get to remain with their teammates. He's got to work with Jordan Love, who did not look good in his one start that he had, or whatever it was, 2 starts.
Well, that's the thing. Is just like, if you're the Packers, do you ask for Drew Lock in return just to have some other quarterback on the roster to compete with Jordan Love?
Oh boy, man, Davante Adams is excited for that. I'll take as many franchise tags as possible as long as I get to play with Drew Lock.
Well, I'm just saying, man. Like, what's the appealing thing here? Like, what do you make it so the Green Bay Packers, they're going to go through a rebuild? It sounds like, but how do you make it where they just don't suck right away?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's not for me to. Not for me to decide. I don't know how the hell to do it. They're going to be in shambles once Rodgers is gone. That's just a fact.
So how would you feel if Rodgers came over to the AFC West? And when you think about it, it's like, why would you want to compete with Mahomes twice a year? You want to compete with Herbert twice a year? I mean, Derek Carr he'll take. But I mean, as far as a Raiders fan, like, you got to face Rodgers twice a year. It's like Peyton Manning all over again.
It's not like Tom Brady. Somebody I saw something where it was, and I always do this. I'm tired of doing this where I base something that I saw from Twitter, but I did, and it was from somebody with a blue check mark next to their name, and I saw it retweeted, and it bothered me. But it was like Rodgers. He said he doesn't get the feeling that Rodgers would go to the AFC West and be scared of Mahomes and Herbert. He said he'd go to the AFC West and think that they got to go through me, not he's got to go through them.
That's probably true.
But then he compared it to Tom Brady and saying, did Tom Brady take the easy path? He went to the NFC South along with Drew Brees. I'm like,
but that's true.
But Drew Brees was on the tail end of his career. Matt Ryan stunk, and the Panthers.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. It's different.
Tom Brady kind of chose an easy path if you really think about it. So I agree with you, but I don't know, man. Why would you want to play in Denver anyway? Like, really, why would you?
He seems like a Denver guy, like just kind of laid back and chill. And I mean, the rumor was he wanted to go to the West Coast to play, but like besides the Rams inquired about Rodgers, but that's not going to happen. It'd be weird. It'd be like a Kevin Durant move. He went to go play for the 49ers. And, the elephant in the room is if he goes to the West Coast, what bars is he going to be able to go into? Just saying. No, I'm just saying. That's a legitimate thing. Like,
or what if the 49ers don't make it to the Super Bowl?
That's what I'm saying, though. Like,
but they also don't have any draft capital to trade.
Yeah, he's not going to the Niners.
We'll give you the Niners just go, we'll give you Trey Lance for Aaron Rodgers straight up. Oh my God.
We'll give you Jimmy and Trey Lance for him.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I don't see that happening.
I don't know where he's gonna go, but whatever.
It's probably gonna be Denver. But at the end of the day, like it's not his, it's his choice, I guess, between him and his agent to, make the trade happen. But it's not like Tom Brady where he gets to pick wherever he wants to go. It's different.
Could retire.
He could retire. I don't see it at this point. I think that now that this move has been made and his buddy has been named head coach of the Broncos, I think he's going to finagle his way to get there.
Yeah. You're probably right. I mean the hiring
the appeal of John Elway being there too. Like quarterbacks love John Elway.
Yeah, for some weird reason.
He was a great quarterback.
He was, but what's the allure there? Okay, guy was a great quarterback. Let's go over there.
Because he can relate to them and talk to them and understand. Like it's having like another coach.
I guess that's true.
It's the whole reason Peyton Manning went there.
Yeah. Good point.
Real quick here, another quarterback that's trying to become a head coach. The rumors are that Byron Leftwich will be named head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he's trying to come up with a way to have Trent Baalke fired and have Adrian Wilson, remember him, the safety for the Cardinals back in the day? He is the vice president of scouting for the Cardinals right now. He wants Trent Baalke fired and have Adrian Wilson become his general manager. Wow.
Good on him.
I mean, yeah, that's a power move.
It is, but if you get Baalke out of there, woo-wee.
I wonder how these interviews are conducted where it's Shad Khan and Trent Baalke talking to Byron Leftwich, and he's like, well, I would love this job if you weren't around.
Yeah. Maybe we can get this guy out of the building here, and we could talk just
Shad,
face to face.
Yeah, hey, Ron Jeremy, can you and I go to a different room and talk about this?
Yeah, we can. Byron Leftwich will just be like, look, let's talk some Fulham football. I know there's not much to talk about there, but Fulham Football Club, not American football, but the soccer team that the Khans are partial owners of or majority owners of. Trent, this isn't a conversation for you. Let's talk some Fulham.
And then he leaves. Now that he's gone.
All right, let's talk some actual football. I don't care about Fulham. Fulham sucks. They were relegated last year. Come on, Shad. You know that you own a crappy team. Look, man, GMs, head coaches, I think that this is a place in sports reaction where I'm not saying that you have had to have thrown a touchdown in order to talk about it and give an opinion. I'm not saying that, but just like I think when it comes to the draft, I think a lot of us don't know what's going to happen, don't really know how these guys would be as a GM who have no history. Trent Baalke, we do know has a history, so we can react from that. Byron Leftwich as a head coach, I wanted him for the Raiders simply because he worked with Tom Brady and Bruce Arians. Like that was the only reason. I don't know how he's going to be. He could be like these other guys where they're just terrible at game management and don't know what to do, or just he can't compete with other head coaches, or he's very, very good. No one knows what's going to happen. No one knows what's going to happen, but Byron Leftwich has done it the right way. And overall, I like him with the Buccaneers. I've seen him on mic'd up stuff. He's good. So I'm a fan, man. And if he did that with Bulky, what a power move.
Yeah.
What a power move.
And people are reporting it. I don't know if it's official yet because we haven't got anything from Schefter or Rappaport, but it sounds like it's trending in that direction. Real quick, Steven, amongst the teams that have a job available, what do you think is like the most attractive job in the NFL right now that's available as far as head coach?
Oh, boy.
Is it the Raiders?
What teams are we talking about here?
We're talking about the Vikings, who just hired a general manager. We're talking about the Bears. So basically, the two teams that got head coaches right now are the Bears and Broncos.
Right.
So right now it's down to the Raiders, Vikings, Giants. Who else is Saints. Who else? Oh, Houston, Jacksonville. I think we're leaving out one more.
I think the Saints can be an intriguing option for a head coach.
Right.
I think they can be. I
think that's Dennis Allen's job to lose, though.
It is, especially because he can rock a visor. Like if you can rock a visor, you're gonna be the Saints' next head coach. Thought Lane Kiffin was gonna be in the running, but
what about Kevin James? He's been Sean Payton. Steven, I lost you again. Yeah, I'm not sure what is the most attractive job in the NFL right now. It may be the Raiders just because of the quarterback situation and nope, he's back.
Sorry, don't know what happened. Kevin who?
Kevin James. I'm sure you were on the edge of your seat there.
I was actually. I was like, Kevin who? Look, man. The Raiders are up there, but I mean, you got to work with Mark Davis. I don't know.
But let's just say Mark Davis is not going to be involved. And you got a nice general manager in there. You got the quarterback with Derek Carr. You got a great young running back. You got a good tight end in Darren Waller.
Yeah.
You got a up-and-coming defense. There and something that these other teams can't say, they were a playoff team.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I guess the Raiders would be number one on there right now. But
yeah.
There's a reason why these guys and the Vikings are there. I mean, you got Dalvin Cook and Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, all those guys. And
that's probably more appealing, actually.
You do have something there. I don't think the Vikings offensive line is very good. So you got something to build there. But I guess the Raiders and the Vikings would be most appealing just because you at least have a capable quarterback. I know everyone craps all over Kirk Cousins just because of his vaccination stance and the fact that he can't really win the big games, as everyone mentions, but he's still a pretty good quarterback. And
I agree.
I think he works very well with coaches. He doesn't seem to cause any problems there. So I think those two would be the most appealing. And I mean, but if you do get the Raiders job, I mean, you're living in Vegas. You're a head coach in Vegas. That's pretty sick.
And
that's what at the Bacchanal buffet, man.
You just did it. You said you weren't going to do it, but you did it.
No, I'm sorry. I couldn't help myself.
It's going to be weird because like I said a long time ago when he got fired, this is the time of year where they replay all the Super Bowl stuff, and we'll be seeing Gruden in the America's game and all the NFL film stuff. It's going to be weird.
Gosh, that is going to be weird.
You going to be out of your mind? Are you out of your skull? Bon Jovi, that's my guy.
Oh, my God. Dude, can you believe the Olympics is right around the corner?
The Winter Olympics?
Yeah. They're at the beginning of February, dude.
Oh, shit. Well, that'd be fun.
So
that's fun.
The answer is yes. We're going to, dude, that's what our podcast is going to be. You were like, what are we going to talk about? After, okay, you didn't say it like that, but you were saying it more as a joke sorry, I was impersonating you doing a joke, but.
You made me sound like Alexander Scott doing my impression.
Yeah, a little bit.
Come on! What are they going to talk about? Turn the sound on. Where's my dad?
The Olympics. The Olympics is what we're going to talk about. There you go.
Yeah.
Boom.
And also your Steven's 70-second soccer segment.
Oh,
I haven't forgotten.
Oh, I'm forgotten. I'm gonna go crazy with that.
Oh, you're killing me. I swear to God.
I know. Sorry.
It's all good. Let's talk a little basketball, though. That's something that we'll be talking about in the offseason a lot, basketball with the Warriors. And they're playing tonight. I think this is going to be a fun game. Warriors and T-Wolves. Not looking for a whole preview of tonight's game, but it'll be on TNT. It'll be fun. And they looked really good in the last game, putting up 130 points on the Mavericks. And yes, Steven, as soon as you come back, they start playing well. I know.
So, I mean, God, everything in that last game. I mean, not really. I'm thinking, yeah, that's because of me. But like, man, when I like these past 2 weeks, they've been really tough, and I haven't watched a lot of Warriors basketball. I caught the Rockets and the Jazz, and they didn't look too good against
But they
both
won
those
those.
teams. Yeah, I know they ended up winning, but you need to win by more than a buzzer beater against the Rockets. You just have to. That's a team that's in so much disarray.
No, I'm with you.
But man, the way that they played in that last game against a Mavericks team that was, I think, 11-2 going into that game, and the last time that they played the Warriors, they held them to under 80 or under 90 points. I think they held them to like 88 or something like that. So that last game, the way that they were moving the ball, and again, Steph had a very poor shooting night from the 3-point line, but he does everything else just so well. And without Draymond there, you need a guy who's going to be dictating that offense. And it turned into him and Klay Thompson. They combined for 13 assists. Klay Thompson had his best game so far as a Warrior, even though he had 15 points on 12 shots. You want a little bit more than that.
Ever?
What?
Klay Thompson's best game as a Warrior ever?
Yeah, ever. No, this season.
Okay,
Sorry,
did
I say ever?
No, you just said Klay Thompson's best game as a Warrior, and I was like, go ahead, finish it. Like, since coming back, go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, no, this was better than the 15 points on 12 shots, better than the 43 points he scored on 4 dribbles, better than the 37 points in a quarter, better than the 14 threes that he made against the Bulls, better than all those games. No, but he looked really good. Kevon Looney's been awesome. Everybody was contributing. Everybody was, and that was just a very well played team game. And Jonathan Kuminga.
Oh, that dunk. Oh, that dunk. I love me some Kuminga.
Oh, he's great. He looks so confident.
Ming?
He looks so confident.
Yeah, I like him.
He's everything. He's what he looks like right now is the way you wanted James Wiseman to look the year.
I was the way you were saying confident, I was like, I'm waiting for it to say like James Wiseman is not confident. And are you confident he's ever going to come back at this point? I mean, he will eventually.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Because apparently like things got even worse in December or something.
It sounds like it, yeah.
There's a lot they're keeping behind closed doors there, but man, Kuminga, Jordan Poole had a good game too, coming off the bench. I mean, and the lineup, I hope to see it tonight because it'd be fun to watch. But Steph Curry, Jordan Poole, Jonathan Kuminga, Klay Thompson, and a mix of whoever. It could be Looney. When Draymond Green comes back, it could be them. But if you have those 4 guys in the rotation, whoo, that could be fun. That could be a lot of fun.
No, it's a fun team, man, and it's a great offensive performance they had last time. Great game by Klay. First great game coming back. Kuminga's dunk was unbelievable. Steph getting his groove back a little bit, but not all the way there yet. We'll see what happens tonight. I think it's going to be a fun game against the T-Wolves. I think that Anthony Edwards. Have you seen this guy play? Good Lord.
Oh, he's so fun. He's one of the most fun players in the league.
He is incredible. I always thought the Timberwolves were going to be the team that always challenges the Warriors. Like when they were going through their runs in 2015 and 2016, we always expected Andrew Wiggins and Karl-Anthony Towns to be that young team that was going to challenge them, and it never happened.
Dude, they were my league pass team when Jimmy Butler was on there, just because I thought, okay, now they've added that piece, they're gonna get things going. Like I never thought they would.
Yeah, and I don't know if they'll challenge the Warriors anytime soon, but I do like them as a playoff team going forward this season, and it'll be fun to see how they play against each other tonight. I'm not expecting a lot of defense with Draymond not out there again, but it sounds like Draymond will be back soon. We just don't know when. It's more promising than with Jonathan Wiseman or James Wiseman at this point. But it'll be a fun game tonight to watch.
At least Draymond's still able to do his podcast, and shout out to him for getting the deal done with Turner Sports officially.
Yeah, what do you think about that? While he's still playing,
I'm good with that.
No, I'm good with it too. I mean, Draymond's going to talk. But I don't know how it's going to work. Like, so when he's off, I hope they just come up with like a Zoom thing because he doesn't need to be traveling all the way to Atlanta on off days.
No, they'll figure something out.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Like that. I don't know what's going to happen there, but I mean, you see it all the time within, I don't know, the UFC. I know it's completely different, but you see fighters become commentators. It happens. I kind of like it. And you know what? Look, we've seen that documentary, that 30 for 30 called Broke, where players have trouble after they retire. And this is just Draymond laying the groundwork. And I can't believe Turner Sports is that invested already to where they'd give him an extension, but I don't think it's going to take away from his playing time.
No, I don't think so.
I think he's going to play out the rest of his contract, and then boom, you're on to TNT.
No, it's a smart move. And my dad always talks about when Joe Theismann, he's Theismann to me, started to work for ESPN while he was still playing, or Reggie Jackson while he was still playing for the A's or the Yankees would commentate in the playoffs. It's just smart to do, to create a career for yourself after you're done. And Draymond Green's not an old man, but he's he's in his 30s and he's he's thinking about the next phase of his career. What I will say though is this is different than the Warriors are done and you're commenting on Nikola Jokic or Joel Embiid. If you start commenting on guys that you will face again while you're still playing in a season, it's going to get dicey. So Draymond has never been shy to say what he wants to say, but just be careful of what you say when you're still playing. That's all I'm saying.
He was a little bit wrong on Devin Booker. I mean,
he was a little wrong on Devin Booker.
Get my man Book out of Phoenix. Yikes.
And we may see those two teams in the Western Conference Finals. I'm hoping for that. That'll be fun. Real quick, Steven, you've been gone away for a while. Any shows you've been watching? Since this is two guys talking, and we talk about sports, movies, no politics.
Funny you mentioned the word two, because the show that I've been watching is The Other Two.
What's that?
It's on HBO. And it was the first season was on Comedy Central, and then HBO picked it up. So they're officially an HBO Max show in their second season. But it is about a family of four. You got 3 siblings and 1 mom. The dad passed away. But one of the youngest, who's like 13 years old, became a sensation because of a TikTok video. And the other two, in the title, is describing the other 2 siblings in that family who aren't exactly as successful as him. One is a struggling actor, and the other is a girl who doesn't have her life figured out at all. And then the mom is Molly Shannon. And it makes fun of a lot of what we see today with popular figures who are younger in today's day and age. The kid doesn't have a lot of talent. He's just good looking. And actually he's a TikTok influencer in real life. So he kind of
that's funny.
He plays into it too, but it's hilarious. So it's just easy. We're getting through it. We're going to be done by season 2 within a week. I'll guarantee that, because it's only 25 minute episodes. So it's hilarious. Nice. It's great. Okay. Highly recommend it.
Haven't seen it. Haven't even heard of it. So I will check that out. I've been watching.
You'll like it, dude. I think you'll really, because it calls out it's a lot like, Idiocracy, not where it's trying to predict what's going on, but it really highlights how stupid celebrity is in this day and age.
That sounds like something right up my alley.
Ken Marino? Marino, yeah.
I love Ken Marino.
Yeah, he plays the agent for the kid. He's hilarious.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay, I'll definitely check this out.
Yeah.
Speaking of Idiocracy and making fun of, the future of the world, did you ever see Don't Look Up?
Oh, yeah. Watch that.
What'd you think?
I loved it.
I was kind of so-so on it.
I loved that.
I thought it was a little over the top and a little grim. And
that's the whole point. What you expect?
I know. I probably need to watch it again.
Oh man, I can't wait to watch this cheerful film called Don't Look Up. What do you think
I was hoping to be like, kind of like, not to spoil it or anything, but like I was hoping that it would be like a little more like, we can overcome this, but apparently not.
That's how sad this world is right now.
Yeah, I guess it's a little more accurate than I was expecting it to be. And also DiCaprio, like in a comedy, just like at the times it was funny, and I just felt like he was just
not a comedy though.
It is a comedy. It's Adam McKay.
Just because Adam McKay doesn't do comedies anymore.
That's true.
What was a Big Short? You know what? I'm going to make a comedy movie about the economy crisis in 2008. Let me do that.
But you can make it funny by having Margot Robbie show up to explain something. There's elements of humor to it.
Yeah. But
okay.
Don't Look Up it's a very well done movie that's a reflection on our society right now.
I liked it. I didn't love it. And a movie that I fucking hated was the Matrix movie that came out. I thought it was stupid.
I didn't watch it yet.
Yeah, it's dumb. Okay, the shows that I've been watching. Have you heard of Kyle Mooney's show on Netflix? Saturday Morning All Star Hits.
Heard about it, never seen it.
It is hilarious for
Good.
90s kids. It is hilarious and kind of similar to Tim Robinson's. I think you should leave now. It
Good.
is very funny, very goofy, very silly.
Good. SNL's not built for his type of comedy.
Yes,
so Kyle Mooney's
exactly.
in his element. Good.
Yes, same thing with Tim Robinson. Just comedy that's just way too crazy that you and I would love and a lot of people would love.
Yeah.
Peacemaker on HBO Max.
The John Cena flick.
Well, it's a show. It's a spinoff of Suicide Squad. I'm not a big superhero guy, but Peacemaker is fucking hilarious. It probably has the best intro to a show I've ever seen in my life. It is funny and it makes fun of superhero movies and kind of like kind of like the machismo of like superheroes, and it's very well done and it's a hilarious show. People should check it out.
You know what else I've been watching?
What's up?
Jeopardy. Because Amy Schneider, Oakland's own, just went on a 40 show run.
Oh, really?
Yeah, nobody really talked about it too much because we had James Holzhauer who kind of, put a wrench into the whole thing.
Failed as an MLB GM, wasn't even given a job.
But yeah, this girl, Amy Schneider, she did
40 days.
She's from Oakland. She hit the 40 win streak and then lost last night. But she was up $10,000. Right. I think she had like 39,000 and the other guy had 29,000, or she had 29,000 and the other guy had 19,000. I think that's what it was actually. But they got to Final Jeopardy. She's up by 10 grand. And the final category had to do with countries. Now, I've watched a lot of this because my mom's been keeping up with it. She's asking me every night, have you watched Amy yet? That stuff. And she's normally really good with geography. So I'm like, all right, she should get this right. And Jessie already told me the result. She told me already, like, that she lost beforehand. Like, I wasn't going to watch anyway. Like, I'm not going to keep up every night. I'm just going to assume that she keeps winning. Anytime I watched her, she's like quick with the trigger, knows the answer. She's one of those ones who is just like, how are you going to beat this woman? Like, how can you? There's no chance. But when it got to Final Jeopardy, the guy knew the answer. She didn't write one down. But my guess is she absolutely knew the answer.
She's got tired.
Because the next one up is Ken Jennings, the guy who hosts the show. He was on a 73 show win streak.
Hold on. Ken Jennings is the host of Jeopardy now?
Yeah.
I thought it was the woman from The Big Bang Theory.
I think that was just a trial run.
Really?
Yeah.
So they gave it to Ken Jennings.
So I don't know if they gave it officially to him, but he is the host and he's kind of snarky. I don't really like him. Like he plays he kind of has the right to because he was a 73 show winner on Jeopardy, but he plays the I'm smarter than you role very well. But I have a feeling that she just said, you know what? I'm going to let this guy win. This guy can take my win streak. He seems smart enough, unlike these other people who can't even make 10 grand. Well, I'm out here averaging 30,000. When I'm averaging 30K, these other people can't do anything. So I think she finally found that one guy to replace her, and she just went quietly into the sunset. I think she made a total of 1.32 million. Just an excellent run for Amy. Plus, she's a Warrior fan. So
shout out Amy. How do we get a hold of her? Can she come on and do the podcast with us?
She's got 100,000 followers on Twitter, but I think she'll answer my DM.
Fantastic. Amy in Oakland, we're looking for you.
Yeah.
And yeah, so cool. Jeopardy, always fun. My dad loves that show. I should catch up on it. What's up?
Do you not love that show?
I haven't watched it in quite some time. It's a nice family show to watch. I think the last time I watched it was the 2 weeks that Aaron Rodgers hosted.
Dude,
and he's not getting that job now.
The contrast between Jeopardy onto Wheel of Fortune is hilarious. Yeah, because it's like you'll get all these, you get
just takes less skill.
Yeah, well, it's what was the ocean on the coastal line between Bangladesh and Peru? You have 30 seconds, blah, blah, blah. Then you go to the next show and it's like, fill in the blank. Name a thing. Like,
yeah.
Like
here's a C, a blank, and a T. Go for it.
Yes. Here's a phrase. It's like, dude, it's the juxtaposition of those two, it's hilarious. I love it.
Hilarious. It's it's amazing those game shows have survived for so long, just putting them in syndication, people will just watch it. Real quick, have you been watching, did you watch Ozark before?
Yeah.
You watching the new season?
I mean, has a new season come out already?
I didn't know about this until a couple days ago. Yeah, the new season's out on Netflix.
Oh wow. No, I gotta wait because Jessie hasn't seen it yet. So I'm gonna have her try and hurry up through season 1 because I've seen that like 3 times already. Because Ozark was one of those shows where it's like, okay, the new season's out, I'm gonna rewatch it from the beginning. So I've done that 3 times. Watch season 3 once, watch season 3 twice, or watch season 2 twice. And so I'm waiting on her to watch season 1. I'm not watching that again. Then I'll catch up with her on season 2. So it's gonna be a while before I catch up on the old Ozark.
It's been good. I just love Marty Bird's reactions to things where he's just like, Jason Bateman, just if we have to die, then that's a possibility. Just like nonchalant. I know I'm stealing that from Joey Melanaro because he had another video like that too.
Really?
Yeah, that guy just hits the mark on when it's either podcast or Ozark. He just making fun of all the things that I want to do.
Yeah, I'm jealous.
Speaking of which, we also got more competition. You hear that Max Crosby is going to have his own podcast on Blue Wire?
Yeah, that one's been in the running though. That one.
Oh, really?
That one was announced like earlier this year. I think we knew that was going to happen. I think Darren Waller has one too. I mean, that's no
Jesus.
That's the thing, dude. That's the draw in Vegas because Blue Wire's there.
Yeah.
If you want to make a name for yourself through podcasting, broadcasting, whatever it is, and you're young, hell, you'd want to go to Vegas just so you can get involved in the podcasting game. So it's
you don't say.
That's no shocker. You don't say. Yeah, that's no shocker.
You don't say.
Yeah.
All right, Steven. I think that's a bow on this one for another episode of Two Guys Talking. Yes?
1 second.
Yes.
Tell me you didn't laugh when you saw that James Harden is growing frustrated in Brooklyn, doesn't like Brooklyn anymore. Obviously, the strip clubs just aren't to his standard.
Is that an actual thing that he's grown tired of Brooklyn?
Apparently, he's grown tired of the city. That's what the report said.
Oh,
it didn't specify that he's tired of the clubs, but then he's also tired of Kyrie. He didn't specify it, but all the vaccination stuff, I think that's really getting to him. The fact that he can't have Kyrie for certain amounts of games. Kevin Durant been hurt, obviously, so he hasn't played with him too much. They had a game against the Lakers. I saw
Anthony Davis' first game back.
I saw the NBA post on Twitter, like, James Harden is knocking down shots and everyone's like, whoa! But then you actually watch the game.
Yeah.
James Harden looks so disinterested already. I mean, Kevin Durant, I mean, you could have had something. You could have stuck with it.
Yeah.
But you thought the fans didn't love you.
I know. It's going to be interesting to see them actually, try to compete for a championship with that guy, because I don't see him going anywhere this season. They're not going to trade him at the All-Star break. Or the trade deadline. I don't see that happening.
Good luck with that. People want a boatload for him. He is still a relatively skilled player, but now that these new rules have come into effect, where they're a little more.
He can't
lenient.
flop all the time.
Yeah, where they're a little more lenient on the foul calls. I mean, it's set him back, man. Might as well retire, dude. You've made enough money. Like, get out of the sport.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also just a mix of the fact that Kyrie and Kevin are going through their things, and he was like, I just wanted to not do much on this team and just not have to be the guy that I was in Houston, and now he's having to do that again. And yeah, I'm sure with all the COVID restrictions, like, it's not like Houston where you can go to a strip club without a mask on. And I don't know how much longer the Brooklyn Nets can keep doing this thing with Kyrie. Like, it's once we have home playoff games for the Brooklyn Nets, this thing is going to get crazy. Like, are the Nets in a better position to be a road team than a home team?
Absolutely.
Well, that's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous.
And
I wouldn't be the least bit surprised before the playoffs that they changed the vaccination thing, so Kyrie could play.
Oh, I mean, they could.
Yeah, they could. But yeah, I would love to see a Warriors-Nets finals and the Warriors win, and Kevin's just like, damn, I missed out.
you imagine?
That would be spicy.
Can you
that would,
imagine leaving Steph and Draymond and Klay Thompson to go play with Kyrie, which kind of made sense at the time because Kyrie is a very skilled basketball player.
Yeah.
And he couldn't have predicted that a worldwide pandemic was going to come around and that Kyrie would be the face of the unvaccinated in the NBA. I don't think KD could have predicted that.
No.
But he chose to go with Kyrie and James Harden.
Yep. We'll see how it pans out, baby.
Wow.
Yep. And we'll see you guys, I think, next Wednesday, because with Super Bowl happening, I got to start working a lot more. So, yeah, we'll be back next Wednesday with a live stream podcast, probably on Thursday. We're probably doing the show on Friday. We'll figure it out. And one of these days, Lorenzo Neal will join us. But in the meantime, in between time, thanks for joining us. Steven, thank you as always. And say what you always say, my friend.
Tune in to 95.7 The Game tomorrow at 5 a.m. I'm going to have a killer show for you. Which is your key to the 49ers versus the Rams this Sunday? Who do you got? I got mark your words. I already marked them, but I'll have a continuation of that from today. It's just your opinion. Our opinion. Man, that was clunky.
Oh, solo promotion. What the hell is this?